In the heart of downtown, beneath the towering skyscrapers and neon lights, sat the Rustic Grill, a restaurant known for its exclusive clientele and extravagant prices. Its owner, Harold Grayson, a middle-aged man with a penchant for power and wealth, prided himself on the high standards of his establishment. To Harold, his restaurant was a sanctuary for the elite, a place where only the most refined tastes were allowed. He often looked down his nose at anyone he deemed unworthy of stepping foot inside his culinary domain, particularly people of color. His restaurant was a reflection of his elitism, an extension of his beliefs, and he guarded it fiercely. On a warm Saturday evening, the restaurant was buzzing with the chatter of patrons and the clinking of silverware. Among the elegantly dressed guests, Harold strutted around, beaming with self-importance as he greeted the regulars. His smile faded, however, when he spotted Marcus and Olivia Daniels entering the restaurant. They were a striking couple, Marcus tall and confident, Olivia elegant in a flowing dress that accentuated her graceful figure. "Do you see them?" Harold whispered to his head waiter Paul as he discreetly pointed at the couple. "They think they can just waltz in here dressed like that." Paul cast a wary glance at the couple and nodded. "Should I ask them to leave, sir?" Harold scoffed. No, let's see how this plays out. They'll realize they don't belong here soon enough." As Marcus and Olivia approached the host stand, they exchanged glances, unaware of the prejudice brewing behind the scenes. "Good evening," Olivia greeted warmly, her smile radiant. "We have a reservation for 2 under Daniels." The host, a young woman named Jessica, hesitated, her eyes darting nervously toward Harold. I'll just need to check that." "Of course," Marcus replied, his voice steady. He wore a tailored suit, a symbol of their hard work and success. Tonight marked their 10th wedding anniversary, a celebration of love and commitment. They had chosen the Rustic Grill for its reputation, thinking it would be a special night. After a moment, Jessica returned, her expression apologetic. "I'm sorry, but it looks like your reservation was cancelled." "What do you mean, cancelled?" Olivia asked, her brows knitting together in confusion. "We made it 2 weeks ago." "I'm really sorry," Jessica insisted. "It seems like there was a mistake. I can try to find you a table, but it may take some time." Harold, eavesdropping from a distance, couldn't suppress his smirk. "I can't believe they thought they could get a table here," he said to Paul. "Just look at them." Marcus, feeling the tension, stepped forward. "We can wait if necessary," he said, trying to keep the mood light. "It's our anniversary." But Harold had other plans. He strode over, a false smile plastered on his face. "I'm sorry, but we're currently at capacity," he said, his tone dripping with condescension. "Perhaps you could try one of the other restaurants down the street. I hear they're quite accommodating." "Are you serious?" Marcus asked, his voice low but firm. "We made a reservation." "I don't understand why you'd turn us away." Harold's smile turned into a sneer. "This isn't a place for everyone, if you know what I mean." At that moment, Olivia's expression hardened. "We have every right to be here," she asserted, her voice rising slightly. "We deserve to celebrate our anniversary just like anyone else." But Harold was unmoved. "I'll have to ask you to leave," he said, coldly glancing around to gauge the reactions of the other diners. As Olivia's eyes filled with tears of frustration, Marcus wrapped his arm around her shoulders, pulling her close. "Come on, babe," he murmured, his own anger simmering just below the surface. "Let's go." Harold watched with satisfaction as the couple walked out, but deep down, he felt a twinge of something he couldn't quite name. Power? Pride? Whatever it was, it felt good to him, reinforcing his beliefs about the world. Little did he know, he had just made the biggest mistake of his life. Outside, the evening air was thick with humidity, and the couple leaned against the cool stone of the building, taking a moment to collect themselves. "I can't believe that just happened," Olivia said, wiping away a tear. "What an awful man." Marcus took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm brewing inside him. "Let's not let this ruin our night," he said, his voice steady. "We can find another place to eat. We deserve to celebrate our love." Just then, his phone buzzed in his pocket and he pulled it out, glancing at the screen. It was a message from his business partner, Kevin. Marcus's heart raced as he read it. "The deal is on. The restaurant chain is up for sale, and we need to act fast." Suddenly, everything clicked into place. The Rustic Grill was part of the chain they were looking to acquire. "Olivia, wait," Marcus said, a new determination lighting up his eyes. "I think we should go back." Back? Why? Because I want to show that man who we really are, he said, his voice firm. He just tossed us out like we don't belong. He has no idea what he just did. But he's awful, Marcus. Do you really want to go back in there? Yes, I do, he replied. Let's teach him a lesson. With Olivia reluctantly following, Marcus led the way back into the restaurant, his heart pounding with purpose. He strode straight up to the host stand, where Jessica still stood, her expression a mix of surprise and confusion. We'd like to speak to the owner, Marcus said, his tone brooking no argument. Jessica hesitated, glancing toward Harold, who was watching from the bar, a smug grin plastered on his face. I can get him for you, she said, and slowly, please do. Moments later, Harold sauntered over, his arrogance radiating from him. Back so soon? He asked mockingly. Did you find a place that suits your, taste? Actually, we'd like to talk business, Marcus replied, keeping his demeanor calm. You may want to sit down for this. Oh, I'm intrigued, Harold said, leaning back against the counter. What do you have to offer? More of your kind of cuisine? Actually, I think you'll find my proposal quite interesting, Marcus continued, his voice steady. You see, I'm Marcus Daniels, and my wife and I are interested in purchasing your restaurant chain. Harold's expression shifted from amusement to shock. Wait a minute, you're the Marcus Daniels? Do you recognize the name? Marcus asked, sensing Harold's unease. Of course I do. But you can't be serious, Harold said, his bravado faltering. You want to buy this restaurant? Yes, and I was planning on purchasing all of them. But after tonight, Marcus paused, letting the tension build. I think I'll need to reconsider. You can't just throw us out and expect me to overlook it, Olivia added, stepping forward, her confidence growing. We deserve respect, and you've shown us none. Harold's demeanor shifted, his arrogance replaced by desperation. I didn't mean any offense. It's just business. Business? Marcus scoffed. You think treating people like that is good business? Harold opened his mouth to protest, but no words came. Instead, he felt the weight of the truth pressing down on him. He had been careless, his racist beliefs costing him more than he had ever anticipated. I can't believe I let myself get caught up in my own arrogance, Harold finally admitted, his tone begrudging. Please, give me a chance to make it right. But Marcus wasn't in a forgiving mood. I'll think about it, he said, turning to Olivia, who nodded in agreement. But you need to understand something, Harold. If I do decide to go through with this deal, I will make sure this restaurant is a place where everyone feels welcome, no exceptions. As they walked out, Marcus felt a sense of satisfaction. They had stood up for themselves, and it felt good. You really did it, Olivia said, her eyes sparkling with pride. You showed him. Marcus smiled, knowing that they had taken a significant step toward making a change. And we won't stop here. We'll create a place that reflects who we are, where everyone feels valued. Weeks went by, and Marcus and Olivia found themselves busy with the acquisition process. They poured their hearts into transforming the rustic grill into a welcoming establishment, one that honored diversity and celebrated community. They hired a diverse staff, revamped the menu to include a broader range of cuisines, and created an atmosphere that invited everyone to enjoy good food and good company. Meanwhile, Harold watched from a distance as his former restaurant thrived under new ownership. His own establishment struggled to stay afloat as word spread about his racist behavior and how he had mistreated customers. Patrons who once frequented the rustic grill began to avoid Harold's new venture, leaving him feeling isolated and desperate. One evening, as Marcus and Olivia hosted a charity event at the restaurant, Harold found himself standing outside, watching the festivities unfold. He felt a deep sense of regret, realizing the true cost of his actions. The couple he had dismissed with disdain had turned his dream into a reality, an inclusive space that welcomed everyone, regardless of their background. Feeling a mix of anger and humiliation, Harold turned to leave but paused as he saw Marcus approaching him. "What do you want?" Harold sneered, though his voice lacked conviction. "I wanted to talk," Marcus replied, his tone steady. "I hope you're learning something from all this." Harold scoffed, but deep down he knew Marcus was right. "Why do you even care?" he snapped. "You got what you wanted." "Because it's about more than just a restaurant," Marcus said, his voice calm. "It's about respect, equality, and understanding. You missed a chance to be a part of something bigger, something meaningful." For the first time, Harold felt the weight of his choices pressing down on him. And what do you suggest I do? Change, Marcus replied simply. It's never too late to learn. Start treating people right, regardless of their race or background. You could turn this around if you really wanted to. Harold looked into Marcus's eyes, and for a fleeting moment he saw the reflection of everything he had lost. The arrogance and hatred that had consumed him were replaced with a flicker of understanding. I don't know if I can, he admitted, his voice cracking. You can, Marcus insisted, but it starts with you. If you want to survive in this industry, you need to embrace change. As Marcus walked away, Harold stood there, grappling with the truth. The world was shifting, and he could either cling to his outdated beliefs or learn to adapt. In the following months, as Marcus and Olivia continued to flourish in their new roles as restaurant owners, they extended an olive branch to Harold. They invited him to attend a community event they were hosting, hoping to inspire change in him. Surprisingly, he accepted. On the night of the event, Harold walked into the rustic grill, his heart pounding. He felt out of place, surrounded by people who had embraced the couple he had once dismissed. But as he stood in the corner, watching Marcus and Olivia engage with their guests, he realized he had missed an opportunity, one to connect, to learn, and to grow. Over the course of the evening, he found himself approached by a few guests who recognized him from his old restaurant. Instead of judgment, they offered him kindness, a chance to be part of something new. Slowly, he began to understand that he could change, not just for himself, but for the community he had once shunned. As the night drew to a close, Marcus approached Harold again. I'm glad you came, he said sincerely. Thank you for the invite, Harold replied, his voice softer now. I realized I have a lot to learn. Marcus smiled, extending his hand. Let's make this a fresh start. As Harold shook Marcus's hand, he felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Perhaps it was not too late after all. He could learn from his mistakes and become part of something greater. With the support of the Daniels, he began to rebuild his life, shedding the toxic beliefs that had once defined him. Meanwhile, the rustic grill continued to thrive, becoming a cornerstone of the community. Marcus and Olivia's vision had transformed the restaurant into a place of acceptance and joy. And as for Harold, he had found a way to forge a new path, embracing the lessons learned through his downfall, proving that change was possible even for the most stubborn of hearts. In the end, it wasn't just about a restaurant. It was about redemption, understanding, and the power of love to overcome hatred. The story of the racist restaurant owner and the couple he had dismissed became a beacon of hope for many, reminding everyone that it's never too late to change and grow.